Hello and welcome to this week's Industrial Minerals Newscast. Coming up today, Rio Tinto's CEO quits after company is hit with impairment charges. Lux Research says Boeing could have chosen safer battery for grounded Dreamliner. And the world's largest graphite deposit is unveiled in Mozambique. Rio Tinto's CEO and former head of Industrial Minerals, Tom Albenese, has stepped down following an announcement that the company faces a $14 billion write-down, mostly relating to its aluminium assets, Rio Tinto Alcan and Pacific Aluminium. The impairment charges, which will be reflected in Rio Tinto's full-year results in February, include $10 to $11 billion worth of reductions in the values of its aluminium assets, $3 billion relating to its Rio Tinto Coal Mozambique division, and a number of smaller write-downs of around $500 million. Rio Tinto's Energy Chief Executive Doug Ritchie, who led the Mozambique coal acquisition and integration, has also stepped down by mutual agreement, according to the company. Following the announcement, shares in Rio Tinto fell from £34.06 per share to £33.15 per share, but recovered shortly after. Australian junior explorer Syrah Resources Limited has completed its maiden resource for the Balma West graphite project in Mozambique, which the company says is the largest known graphite deposit in the world. Balma West's inferred JORC-compliant mineral resource comprises two high-grade zones containing an estimated 157 million tonnes of graphite at 17.1% carbon, at a 5% carbon cutoff, surrounded by zones of medium-grade graphite, 5 to 15% carbon, giving a total inferred resource of 564 million tonnes at 9.8% carbon. This figure exceeds Syrah's exploration target of 400 to 500 million tonnes at 10% carbon for Balma West, announced by the company in November last year. Syrah added that it expects to significantly expand the total inferred tonnage for the project when a resource is calculated for the Balma East section of the property in the second quarter of this year, which has a target of 300 to 400 million tonnes at 11% carbon. The contained graphite in the two high-grade zones at Balma West, Ativa and Moalia, is estimated to be around 26.8 million tonnes, with 21 million tonnes at a grade of almost 21% carbon. The Ativa zone ranks as one of the highest grade reserves recorded globally, according to Syrah. DuPont, the world's #1 producer of titanium dioxide pigment for paints, has announced that it faced difficulty in 2012 due to a severe dip in its main end markets. The company's pigment division saw a 15% reduction in sales to $1.6 billion, with 8% lower volumes and 7% lower prices. These figures served to drag down the profits made in the other divisions. CEO Ellen Coleman said particularly agricultural crop growth, which performed strongly. The titanium dioxide market continues to struggle as end users around the world let their inventories run down and minimize their purchases of new pigment stock. Positive construction and automotive growth in the US and new infrastructure in China point towards a more positive second half to 2013, the company said. Lithium-ion batteries were in the news for the wrong reasons this week, as an electrical fire on a Boeing 787 Dreamliner, blamed on the batteries, forced the plane to make an emergency landing on the 15th of January. The ANA flight, NH692 from Yamaguchi-Uba, Japan, made the emergency landing at Takamatsu Airport shortly after takeoff due to the battery problem. The incident followed safety concerns on the 787 flight on the 7th of January. The FAA made the following statement. In light of a series of recent events, the FAA will conduct a comprehensive review of the Boeing 787 critical systems, including the design, manufacture and assembly. The Emergency Airworthiness Directive is prompted by this second incident involving a lithium-ion battery. The battery failures resulted in release of flammable electrolytes, heat damage and smoke on two Model 787 airplanes. The root cause of these failures is currently under investigation. Consultancy Lux Research said after analysis it believed Boeing did not select the safest type of battery available. The FAA arrived in the area last week, along with Boeing and GS Yuasa Corporation staff, to investigate the recently grounded Dreamliner. And finally, US-based oilfield services leader Halliburton has reported that sadly one of its employees died as a result of an incident which took place at one of its hydraulic fracturing operations in Watford City, North Dakota. Another Halliburton employee was taken to the McKenzie County Hospital with injuries that were believed to be minor. The company said it is working with local authorities as they look into the details of this incident, and out of respect for the family's privacy, the employee's name has not been released. The incident, which occurred at approximately 5 in the afternoon on the 19th of January, is thought to have been the result of a hydraulic fracturing valve that was turned the wrong way, though the full details of the incident haven't been released. According to local news reports, the Occupational Health and Safety Administration will now conduct a complete investigation into the incident. Well, that's all we have time for this week. If you have any comments or feedback, we'd love to hear from you. You can get in touch via Twitter @IndMin or contact us through the website www.indmin.com. Thanks for watching and see you again soon.